Aloha and welcome to Maui Mana'o. I'm your host, Alan Texeira, and joining us again are the Maui State Senators, Senator J. Kalani English and Senator Roz Baker. Unfortunately, Senator Shansu Tui was unable to be with us today, but the show must go on. We'd like to thank the senators for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us. We are roughly halfway through the legislative session. We are reaching bill crossover. Can you please explain how we get to crossover and what crossover means?
Well, you know, the first part of the session, it's sort of like a three-lap race or a three-act play. And the first act is each body hears their own bills. We introduce them, we send them to committee, and then we get ready to send them over to the House. So that's really what crossover is. And now we have winnowed out all of the Senate bills. The House has winnowed out all of their House bills, and we've swapped. So we're starting to have hearings on House measures.
Yeah, you know, crossover means it crosses over to the other House. So all of the Senate bills that we pass, so we, as Senator Baker said, we brought them down from all these bills, brought the concepts down to the ones that we really want, sent those to the House for their consideration, and what they've done is sent their bills to us. So we start again, we start the hearing process again, we hear their bills, and sometimes when the concepts are really similar, you know, we do a thing where we take our version of it and put it into their bill, and then they take our bill and put their version in, and then we sit down and go to a conference. So, you know, when we say crossover, it literally means that the bills have crossed to the other side.
The other chamber.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we go through the hearing process again because we want to see if there's differences in the legislation, you know, how people are reacting to the proposals from, you know, anything that's been new or different. Because a lot of times in the hearing process, we'll hear, well, maybe we don't have that concept quite right, so we make amendments. And this is another opportunity just to see what those amendments might look like and how the language might be improved. Because we start off with about 2,000 bills in the Senate, and people say, well, gee, that's a lot for everybody to read, but sometimes there's duplicates or, you know, there's measures that maybe not quite ready for prime time. Sometimes they get turned into task forces that way.
Yeah, and a lot of times we have the same goal, but different ways to get to that goal. So as we do our hearings on the Senate bills, we say, okay, maybe this is the preferred way, and we lay aside the other bills, pick one as what we call a vehicle. That becomes a vehicle, and we concentrate on that. Then we perfect that. So we start making sure that it meets all legal requirements. It starts incorporating ideas from the public, from agencies, legal checks from the attorney generals, etc. So it's really, the whole process is to perfect the bill, the House and the Senate, and it's really like when you edit something. You know, you give it to one set of eyes, everybody reads it, and maybe we miss something. We send it to the next House, and they say, oh, we found this, and they make it better, hopefully.
That's it.
Now, you know, the Senate has a little bit more responsibility in certain areas than the House. You know, so we finalize the state budget. The House, it starts in the House, it crosses over to us, and we finalize. So we get the final set of numbers from the Council on Revenues. You know, we sort of perfect the budget, get it set for conference. Maybe Senator Baker, you can talk about the advice and consent.
Yes, that's the unique thing that the Senate does that the House does not. All of the governor's nominations for boards and commissions, for cabinet level officers, as well as judges come to the Senate for advice and consent. So they give us what they call a governor's message or a chief justice's message in the case of district judges to let us know what the executive or the chief justice would like to have as a member, say, of district court or board of regent or various boards and commissions. So one of the things that we've started to do now is advise and consent hearings. So we have, we just confirmed our newest Maui judge to the circuit court, Judge Mimi Desjardins, and we've got a lot of boards and commission members up for confirmation, everything from Cable Advisory Committee to Board of Acupuncture, psychologists, Board of Medicine, veterinary examiners, lots and lots, as well as we also confirm Board of Regents as well. So,
you guys just confirmed a new Maui PUC member.
Yes,
PUC member from Maui.
yes, we did. Go ahead.
Well, you know, the term advice and consent is from the Constitution, And it's a way of providing checks and balances. So the governor appoints, but we have to consent, provide our advice to the governor and our consent that yes, we accept. Because without that, you can imagine that every commission can be completely stacked. So we become the check in the system. Yes, you appointed these people, but when the governor appoints somebody, we check them against the statutory requirement. Do they meet what the statute sets out? We check them against balance of the commission so that all points of views are represented. And then we have hearings to understand what the public perceives and what they want. So, you know, when you talk about democracy in action, the advice and consent is one function of that.
It is, and this, we've just confirmed, as you mentioned, a new commissioner to the Public Utilities Commission, Mike Champley from Maui, and he's an example, I think, of the fine quality of appointments that we're getting this year. He has a background in electrical engineering, and he really brings a lot of renewable energy regulation and expertise to the commission. And later this week, we'll be hearing the third member who's been nominated, Lorraine Akiba, who also has some knowledge in this area, financial as well as legal. So it's an opportunity for the public to weigh in on a commission that's very, very important for all of us, from the fact that they're doing regulations on renewable energy and on energy as well as water transportation.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
Right, and just to, you know, maybe elaborate a little bit more on advice and consent, it's just like a bill. A governor's message or a chief justice's message comes to the Senate. It gets referred to the appropriate committee. So, you know, each committee, Senator Baker has a lot because it's, you know, it's a huge, huge area. But if it's dealing with a commission that's like the Commission on Transportation, it comes to me. If it's dealing with something to do with Board of Land and Natural Resources, it goes to Water Land. So it goes to the appropriate subject matter committee.
And because the professional and vocational licenses are under Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, I end up with a lot of boards and commissions. And PUC is another part of the jurisdiction for Commerce and Consumer Protection, my committee, so that's why it comes to my committee. So I get a chance to meet a lot of really good people, and most of the licensing boards not only have licensee members, but they also have members of the public. So it's just like the boards and commissions at the county level. So if the members of the public want to get involved and engaged, submit your name, and we're always in need of people to serve on these very important boards and commissions.